Harp on Sports, the Bar, podcast, media, audio, radio network. Follow, share, like, subscribe on all of our platforms at Harp on Sports via the social media, audio podcast, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course online via the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, both under the aforementioned Harp on Sports, and also harponsports.com, where we have a recent article up setting records. Legendary record players. A little LeBron James, a little Tom Brady. It's an interesting read. Check it out at harponsports.com. What do we have in store for you on this edition of the program? Well, a little legendary love. As we look at this divisional round in the NFL, and I've got 5 players that have the most at stake. Legendary is probably a little bit of a stretch, but legacy, a little legacy love. What 5 players in the NFL going into this weekend can do the most for their legacy? So we're going to look at that. Also give you our predictions for the divisional round. Also, this seemingly comes up every year at this time. There's a petition out now. Petition. Got 80,000 signatures on it, which, whatever, to get the Super Bowl moved from Sunday to Saturday. I'm going to tell you why that's not going to happen and why it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. So we're going to look at that as well. Also, big baseball news this week in which Major League Baseball came out and said, the Rays aren't going to get to play half their games in Tampa and the other half in Montreal. We're not doing that. The Players Union was never going to let this happen. What it means for the future of baseball in Tampa. Is it a good sign? It's a flip of the coin. At least with shared custody, they're going to get to keep them. I think now it's 70-30 the Rays leave. I'll tell you why. Start off with this first. NFL, divisional round, the wild card round. You loved it so much for everybody that said they were done with the NFL. They either were lying or they changed their mind. Again, I've said it for years on talk shows that I've hosted, things that I've written, interviews that I've given. Talk is cheap. Action is everything. I don't listen to what you say. I believe what you do. I'm never drinking again. I'm never listening to your show again. I'm done with that. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm never going to watch it. Of course you are. I'm never eating there again. Of course you are. Nice try. You just are. NFL ratings through the roof. So now what do we have? We have storylines all over the place. We do. The Bengals get off the schneid, win their first playoff game in 30 years. And now what? Now they hit the road to take on the Titans. Got the Chiefs and the Bills, prime time, Sunday night. Who'd have thunk it? The Chiefs and the Bills are your primetime Sunday night matchup. And then, all we have are the 49ers and the Packers. The legends revisited. And then the Bucks and the Rams, which I thought would be the NFC Championship game at the beginning of the year. Okay, sirrah. Going to miss out on that one. But I was sitting here thinking, okay, the legendary status. Who's got the most legacy status? Who's got the most to prove this weekend? Who can do the most for their legacy? Who needs this weekend to continue their legacy? And there's certain things like Tom Brady's broken so many records and what's the difference between 7, 8 Super Bowls for him now? Really, what's the difference? Seriously. So he's not on this list. He's not. So the 5 guys that can do the most for their NFL pedigree and the most for their NFL legacy, legacy is a strong word too. I said legendary earlier. They can do the most for their career accomplishments and take that next step. So counting down 5-1. Guy that's 5 on my list is Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco, going on the road into Green Bay. Here's a guy that's going to be traded. Here's a guy that's going to be moved. So he goes out and he wins another road postseason game, and Jimmy Garoppolo can win games in Dallas and win games in Green Bay. And you may sit there and say, oh, so what, Seth? He's got that great defense. He's got all that stuff around him. So he's got great running backs. So what? Well, think about teams that are just missing that type of player. See Washington. Guys that are missing that type of player, that have a good defense, that are just looking for an extra piece of the puzzle. Looking for that extra thing to get them over the hump. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo ends up where? In Detroit. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo ends up in Minnesota. Jimmy Garoppolo can go on the road and win again. Here's a guy that then at that point will be 60 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl 2 out of 3 years. So Jimmy Garoppolo is number 5 on my list, the guy that can do the most for himself, at least in terms of legacy. Number 4, going forward, Josh Allen. Let's face it, is this new era of quarterback ushers in? The thing that made Manning and Brady so interesting is they were both in the same conference. They played each other all the time. When you're opposite conferences, it's a little bit tougher. Just a little bit tougher. We had a little bit of Aikman and Steve Young doing this in the early 90s. So who is this next 1-2 punch? We know it's going to be Mahomes. Is it Josh Allen? Is it Joe Burrow? Is it Justin Herbert? Who's that guy that's going to be that 1-2 punch going forward with Patrick Mahomes? Once Brady left the AFC, that opened that up, right? And it helps to be in the same division because you play each other twice a year, possibly 3 times a year at the postseason. So Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, is this it? Josh Allen goes out and loses to Patrick Mahomes again? Okay, he takes a step back and he's waiting in the wings. He beats Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Now you got a 1-2 punch for the future. So we're looking to see who's that silver medalist in the AFC or who's that challenger. Who's that Riddick Bowe of Vander Holyfield and vice versa. So who's that guy? Who's that guy? You know, who's that Joe Frazier to Ali? Who's that 1-2 punch? Mahomes is 1. Who's 2? Is it Josh Allen? Josh Allen wins. Does Josh Allen become number 1? If he loses, he falls back. And then you have the Titans and the Bengals. And if Joe Burrow wins, Joe Burrow starts to sneak in here a little bit. He's not there yet. He's not in my top 5. Doesn't have it. If he loses, he's in the house when it comes to money. He is. He won a bunch of money to scratch off lottery ticket. He's cool. He's in good shape. So again, 5 guys that have the most at stake this weekend, can do the most for their legacy or at least their persona, perception. 5 Jimmy Garoppolo, 4 Josh Allen. Who's number 3 on my list? Number 3 on my list is Derrick Henry. In an era where running backs are gone, in an era where running backs are afterthoughts, Derrick Henry's been out, 2 months? If he can come in, get the Titans back to the AFC Championship game after being injured and missing all this time, now the folklore begins. Now the chapters start to take on a different tone. I thought this guy was going to be the MVP this year. He sure looked like the MVP when he got hurt. And is he a Hall of Famer yet? No. Is he getting there? Yes. Derrick Henry puts the Titans on his back and they go in the postseason. They were the 1 seed without him. Think about that. The Titans were able to go 6-2 down the stretch, 7-2 down the stretch without him, still hold on to that 1 seed. So now it's kind of looking around, okay, what does Derrick Henry do for us? He puts you into the postseason? Well, not really. The rest of this group kind of did that. Okay, does he put you into the Super Bowl? Derrick Henry, number 3. Number 2, who can do the most for themselves this weekend heading forward? Most on the line? In terms of persona, legacy, Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford. Rams go into Tampa, and Matt Stafford beats Tom Brady, and Matt Stafford puts himself 60 minutes away from the Super Bowl. Matt Stafford's kind of like that weird, watered-down version of Phillip Rivers a little bit. Phillip Rivers had a great career. He's a Hall of Famer. He put all these numbers together. But, he made the postseason. He had runs in the postseason. He played hurt in the postseason. He played with a torn ACL in the postseason, right? So, wow. What's Matt Stafford's postseason moment? Well, they won last week. Look good on Monday night. Now's the next roadblock for Matt Stafford. Can he go on the road and win? The Rams go in Tampa and win? And look around and go, okie dokie, especially if the Niners could somehow knock off the Packers. And then the Rams are hosting the NFC Championship game. Matt Stafford, a lot on the line. Even if they win this weekend and would lose next weekend, let's say to Green Bay, Matt Stafford takes a pretty big step with probably about 3 or 4 years left in his career, right? We always said, what is he going to do if he has weapons? Well, he had them, and boy, oh boy, did he light the cards on fire on Monday night. So Matt Stafford has the second most. He's got the most at stake, number 2 on my list. So number 5, Jimmy Garoppolo, legacy plays, the guys that have the most, at least now, at stake this weekend. Number 5, Jimmy Garoppolo. Number 4, he does. Any way you look at it, Josh Allen, is he going to be that 1-2 punch to Patrick Mahomes? Number 3 is Derrick Henry. Look what they did without him. Can he get him back over the top? Get him into the Super Bowl. Number 2 is Matt Stafford. Number 1's Aaron Rodgers. We look at everything that Aaron Rodgers has done and his great accomplishments in the postseason the last 7-8 years. Not so good. Not so good. Especially with what happened last year in Tampa. How embarrassed they were in San Francisco 2 years ago. So now what? Now he's at home again. They're the 1 seed again. Home field throughout again. He's the MVP again. And here comes his 49ers team in that did everything in their power to give that thing away in Dallas last week. What's Aaron Rodgers do this weekend? He gets beat again in a situation like this. He gets dumped this weekend, especially with his comments coming out, talking about, look, and you can be critical of the president if you want. I was okay with people critical of the last president. I'm okay with, if you want to be critical of him, going after him about his vaccine. What did he say? President Biden said it's the pandemic of the unvaccinated. And he went after him on Friday night about it. Oh, okay. Or Friday afternoon about it. Oh, okay. But then you just put that spotlight a little bit brighter on you. And now you're putting more pressure on yourself a little bit. And then the losing in the postseason in years past. Aaron Rodgers needs to win this one. Aaron Rodgers needs to win a second one bad. Because right now you look at the quarterbacks the last 20 years, people put who number 1? They put Brady number 1. Who do they put number 2? Peyton. Peyton Manning 2. He's got 2 Super Bowls, although the second one was a watered down one, but he does have 2. I know Eli Manning has 2, but he's kind of skirted off to the side. And then you have a collection of guys, right, with 1. You have Drew Brees with 1. You have Aaron Rodgers with 1. So Super Bowls matter, especially if you can get that second one. Second one's a big deal. Big Ben's got 2. So there you go. Those are my 5 guys with the most at stake this weekend. What happens in the divisional round? Looking at the games on Saturday, out of the gate, I think the Bengals put up a fight, but the Titans at home with a week to get ready. The Bengals, they've won. I get it, but going on the road's a different beast, albeit Nashville's not the most gigantic of home field advantages. With Derrick Henry back, the threat that he is, at least with play action, I think the Titans win. They're going to cover the 3.5 in that one. I think the Titans win that thing like 24-17. I think that's a good football game. I think they're all going to be good this weekend. I do. That's one that could be a 2-touchdown game, though. So, but the Titans are going to cover that one. When it comes to Saturday night, that one, I think the 49ers could knock off. I think defensively they can do enough to keep that close. But again, Aaron Rodgers and company, look, they're not going to lose that. I don't think so. Not at home. Now, next weekend against the Bucs or the Rams, I could see that thing being interesting. Especially with the Rams defense and what the Rams have weapon-wise. And same thing with the Bucs. But when you come right down to it, they're not this weekend. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo can go in there and win. So I think the Packers win, and I've got them covering in that one too. It's spreading that 5.5. Look for that one to end up 28-21, 31-24. I think that one gets up there a little bit. So I think it's not going to be the blowout that we saw 2 years ago when the 49ers crushed the Packers. But I think the Packers will beat the 49ers. They'll cover the 5.5 on Saturday night. Sunday afternoon, of all the games, I think this is the best one of the weekend. I do. I think this is the best one of the weekend. The Rams, the Bucs in Tampa. I think the Bucs win, but this one's dangerous. But I'm not betting it. I'll bet against Tom Brady on the road in the postseason, but not at home. Not at home. No way. I think the Bucs win at home. They cover the 3.5, 28-23. So the Bucs win. They're headed back to the NFC Championship game. So the Packers and the Bucs, it's a rematch. In the AFC, I like Buffalo to go to Kansas City and win. I'm a Chiefs fan, and I think the Bills are going to go into KC and win. Kansas City I know that they played better down the stretch, but the Bills crushed them there early this year. They didn't have an answer for Josh Allen. They had an answer for him last year in the postseason. Look, the Bills couldn't run the ball, but the Chiefs' defense is not near as good as it was a year ago. At least they were good in that game a year ago. In the offense with Tyreek Hill, I just have too many question marks with this Chiefs right now. This team. And I think the Bills last weekend crushed a decent football team. I think the Chiefs beat an okay one. Still crushed them, but it's a little bit different. I think the Bills win. So your AFC Championship game, I think it's Buffalo on the road, Tennessee. And I think the Bucks are on the road in Green Bay, so I think that's what happens. So take the Bills and the points in that one. All three of the home teams win and cover. The team that wins on the road is the Bills. Take the Bills and the points. Other than that, take all the home teams and give the points. So that's what happens in those games. Speaking of the NFL, I see there's another, and this happens almost every year. Somebody comes along and does this, and it's just, you don't think things through. People don't think things through. They want what's in their best interest, not in the collective's best interest. Petition, 80,000 signatures, which that's nice, but okay, somebody got 80,000 signatures. 80,000 signatures to move the Super Bowl from Sunday to Saturday. So let me get this straight. A sporting event that's watched by 100 million people in America, you got 80,000 people to sign for it. When you put it in perspective like that, when you put it in terms like that, okay, we want to move the Super Bowl from Sunday to Saturday, and we believe so much about it, we got 80,000 signatures, so 80,000 people out of 100 million. Come on. 3/4 of Americans don't work on Sunday. 3/4 of Americans, adult Americans, don't work on Sunday. 3/4. The number falls to 60%. This is Division of Labor Statistics. 60% of Americans don't work on Saturday. So think about everybody that you know that works on a Saturday. You work on Saturdays. You work on Saturdays? Think about the number of Americans that work on a Saturday. And now you take a step back and you're like, okay, well, wait a second. They want to move the Super Bowl from a Friday or a Sunday night to Saturday night. Why? Oh, because it's tough to get up for work on a Monday. I'll grow up. The Super Bowl starts at 6. It's over at 10 o'clock. The Super Bowl ends when halftime exists for Monday night football games, for Sunday night football games. You can't get up. Why? Because you can't control your booze. You can't control your drinking. You can't control your partying. Okay, so what? We need to move the Super Bowl to a Saturday night and hose over 15% of Americans who are working on Saturdays? So you, Drunky McDrunkerson, who can't handle your liquor, can sleep in on Monday? Nope. Super Bowl's fine on Sunday night. It's fine. Easy for you to say. No, it's not easy for me to say. For my first 5 years out of college, I had to get up at 3 a.m. to do morning sports updates. Rick Shield, Farm and Ag Report, baby. WKZO Radio, Lori Moore Morning Show. I was fine with it. I was 22, 23 years old. What happens? Well, I couldn't really get drunk. Okay. There's other nights. I need to get drunk and I need to eat a lot and be able to sleep in the day after the Super Bowl. Use a vacation day. It's funny because you see this stat, $44 billion. I saw this stat too, according to this petition. $44 billion worth of labor is lost post-Super Bowl because of inactivity. All right, let's just give everybody the whole day off then? So we have zero productivity? So think about this. People that want the Super Bowl moved to Saturday are people that cannot control their eating habits and drinking habits on Sunday. Sorry. So we're going to hose over 15 to 20% of the population that are working on Saturday? Do you know what think about businesses that are open on Saturday nights, restaurants, bars, people that Saturday night's the biggest going out to eat night of the week. That ends with the Super Bowl. Do you know how many billions of dollars, people that want to move the Super Bowl from Sunday to Saturday, how many billions of dollars in revenue you're going to cost businesses by moving the Super Bowl? Oh, but you're a drunk ass and you can't stop eating. You'll be okay? Well, then those people will just go out on Sunday night. Yeah, after a rip-roaring Super Bowl party on Saturday night, that's what I want to do is wake up Sunday and go to Applebee's. It's not going to happen. It's a bad idea. When you think about it from a labor number, when you think about it from, labor revenue, when you think about it just statistically, it's a bad idea. Not as many people can watch the Super Bowl on Saturday as on Sunday. You're going to hurt your labor force. Think about this. How many people do you know that work on Sunday nights? Not too many. Not too many. Even car dealerships don't work on Sunday nights. They're open on Saturdays, not Sundays. Think about things like that. Most people that want the Super Bowl moved from a Sunday to a Saturday, why? I can't stop drinking and eating on the night. I want to be able to sleep in. No, sorry, not buying it. Keep it Sunday night. Keep Sunday evening. It starts at 6. You have all day Sunday to get ready for it. People are off on Sundays. Stop it. Don't do it. And they're not going to do it because TV would lose tens of millions of viewers by doing it. No, right? If you cut your audience by 15% in five, well, okay, think about this. If you cut your audience by 15%, what's 15% of 100 million? 15 million, right? 15 million fewer viewers, which means less money you can charge for commercials, which means, just come on. No, it's fine. Nothing wrong with Super Bowl on Sunday night. Sorry, I'm not going to move the game for a bunch of drunks and people can't stop eating. All right. Just not. Wrapping with this. A little Major League Baseball might, as I think this is fascinating. The Rays revisited. The Tampa Rays, gosh, this is so interesting. No more dual city plan. And it's interesting here, I want to get this right. Stuart Sternberg, the owner, called it deflating. He wanted a split season. He wanted half the season in Tampa, half the season in Montreal. Why? It's absence makes the heart grow fonder. How can we raise more money? How can we generate more cash flow? Well, that's how we can generate more cash flow. We eliminate your 81 home games to 40 home games. All of a sudden, those fans then cram 80 games into a 40 game schedule. Season tickets become more affordable at 40 games. And then north of Montreal, it becomes more affordable in those 40 games. So, look, the Rays were going to have great attendance numbers when you split that. And if he can force Tampa, in this case in Montreal, to build new ballparks, now I got brand new ballparks in both locations, it's actually not a bad idea if you're a greedy, wealthy owner. Who's it a terrible idea for? Everyone else. Everyone else. Players? You mean half my family? So I'm going to play my first 40 games in Tampa, then my next 40 games, home games in Montreal. So do I move my whole family up to Montreal? What about my kids? What about front office people? What about the GM? What about secretaries? Are there going to be two different set of secretaries? So the Rays, it's a half season. Does that mean the Rays employ people throughout the full season? Because let's say you do a half and half thing. Well, the All-Star break, that means the Rays aren't coming back. Or are you going to even make it worse where one weekend we're in Montreal, then 2 weekends later we're in Tampa? If I'm a player, why in the earth would I want to play for that organization? Logistically, it's a nightmare. Financially, it's great. But have you ever noticed for most billionaires, the things that make them the most money hose their workers? The things that tend to make bosses really, really rich hurt. It hurts somebody. And who does it hurt in this case? It hurts your labor force, your players. Imagine having a wife and kids going, all right, honey, we're going to go to Montreal for a couple weeks, and then we're going to come back. It's like, so what? They get so much money? Yeah, just crap all over them then. Why not? You bet. Or I could live in one city with my family. No. And the players union was never going to go for it, and they shot it down. So what does this mean? This means, look, there's certain cities that have wanted baseball for a while now. Portland, Oregon's wanted baseball for a while. Charlotte's wanted baseball for a while. San Antonio's kicked the tires on baseball for a while. Vegas and Nashville, these are two cities. Las Vegas and Nashville, you are crazy right now if you don't sit down with Stuart Sternberg, the owner of the Rays, and say, what do you want? How about this? We'll donate the land. In our city, we'll pay for 60% of your stadium. We'll give you the land and we'll do 60% of the stadium. Vegas, we'll give you the land and we'll do 60% of the stadium. And then he'll come back and go, no, I want 100%. And then you get yourself into a bidding war, but that's fine. If you're Nashville and you're Vegas and you want a Major League Baseball team, now's your chance. Go after the Rays. Orlando, go after the Rays. City of Orlando should come out too and say, we'll give you the land. We'll put it out by Disney. We'll put it out by Disney. Who wants it? Who wants this, baby? Who wants a piece of this? But here's Vegas and Nashville. Here's your opening. What do I think is going to happen? Well, they got, 5 years left on that lease there? 6 years left on the lease in Tampa? This do-si-do is going to go on for a couple of more years. Will Stuart Sternberg sell them? Depending on who offers the money. If this team is sold, oh boy, you better hope somebody that's a Tampa native that loves it wants to keep it in Tampa. But, this was going to be dual custody, and Tampa would have had a chance to keep him. He's trying to do everything in his power to get a new stadium. And he don't want to pay for it. Is this the ultimate greed move? Yes. And when baseball sets their basement in terms of a salary cap, and you can't host it, it's going to be tough. Tampa, you want to keep him? You can write this down. Was it January 21st? Tampa, you're going to have to pay for 80% of this ballpark if you're going to want to keep him. You may have to give him the land too. Well, not may. You're going to have to give him the land and pay for 80% of it. We're not doing that. He should pay for his own park. I caution the people of Tampa and Rays fans on this. You know who else said you should pay for your own park? We're not kicking any money in. The people of San Diego with the Chargers, the people of St. Louis with the Rams, and the people of Oakland with the Raiders. They all said, we're not giving you any money. You pay for your own stadium. How'd it work out for them? What do I think happens? I still think the Oakland A's become the Las Vegas A's, and I think the Tampa Bay Rays become the Nashville Stars. Said it for 12 months, and I continue to say it until I see some contract otherwise. I think Nashville's going to sweep in and get him. But not without a fight from Orlando. So there you go. Again, the split season thing was never going to happen. Harbaugh on Sports, the Bar Podcast Media, Audio, Radio Network. Follow, share, like, subscribe on all of our at Harbaugh on Sports social media platforms. Also, Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can consume this audio-wise, video-wise. Facebook, the YouTube page, both under the Harbaugh on Sports heading. And also, harpawnsports.com with our latest article. It's awesome. It's re-examining all-time records. Redefining record players. What Tom Brady and LeBron James are doing, unparalleled. It's a hierarchy of two. It's a pretty good read at harpawnsports.com. Check it out. So there you go. And remember, stay clean, stay focused, stay strong. Frankenstein. Have fun with your friends.